take the next one. So actually, both Trey and I are in a class right now, and the focus is climate change and social justice and looking at it from a people's perspective. And I think that kind of is what drives a lot of engineers to go into renewable energy is the people side of it, is that they care about how it's affecting not only the environment but the people living in it. And so I'm curious to know if you guys do any work trying to maybe inform people of renewables, and if you do, like what it is that you do and how successful that's been and what's worked and not worked for you, and maybe trying to help people understand what those little changes mean in their personal experience.
Kevin, that kind of sounds like one you might want to take the first shot at.
Sure. I'd be happy to talk about what I do from an advocacy perspective, but before I talk about what I do, I would highly encourage you, you all there at Howard and all on this webinar here, is to don't underestimate your power through universities, through your ability to organize and influence not only your university, but also your community around that university, to tell them what you care about, to let them know why you care about it, as well as communicating that back home to your communities. A lot of times we assume that renewables happen somewhere else, or it applies somewhere else, and there's tremendous opportunities in our cities as we look at opportunities to do solar specifically on commercial and residential locations. And in Howard, specifically in Washington, D.C., the White House, through the Center for Environmental Quality, is pushing very hard on a program called the Capital Energy Program to look at solar opportunities within the district itself. Me personally, I am very fortunate to have served in the military with a lot of tremendous people that came away with very similar experiences, watching the number of convoy deaths in Iraq and Afghanistan that were caused from moving fuel from point A to point B on the battlefield. It's a terrible statistic that 1 in 24 convoy deaths was caused from moving fossil fuel from point A to point B. So Marlon, getting back to your question, there's an absolute need to think about diversification for lots of reasons. And I've been very fortunate to be a part of an organization called the Truman National Security Truman National Security Project, that helps bring together veterans, political folks, as well as policy leaders to advance the national security dialogue. And specifically, I work with the teams of folks around the country that helps communicate our shared experiences as veterans and why we have moved into the renewable energy space. And communicating it from a values-based perspective is tremendously moving. It connects folks on both sides of the political spectrum to talk about what matters, and that's our country, our national defense, our veterans, and our path forward. So to the question, I think there's tremendous ways to think about what you care about, folks that you know that care about the same things, get together, organize, and then find those groups and organizations that have similar messages and reach out to them. And there's people like myself that are involved with things like that that could be a great networking conduit for future opportunities, for future careers. So I'll leave it at that.
Great points, Kevin. Nikki or Rashawn, anything to add?
I was going to say just really there are so many networking groups out there specifically around renewable energy and green jobs right now. It's a huge topic and a huge thing that's going on. So really just kind of joining these groups, starting the conversation about what are the issues that are important to you and how can you make those happen in your community and everything like that. People want to talk about this right now. It's a huge thing. Especially in Boston right now, there is a lot going on with renewables. I get emails pretty much every single day about a new thing that's going on, a new startup, and new ways to get involved in the community. Also right now, there's a lot of talk going on about offshore wind, specifically the Cape Wind project, which is still derailed, and now there's a new project actually going on in Rhode Island, off of Block Island, which is having a lot a lot of communications and dialogue going on about that right now. So really, everybody wants to talk about this. So no matter who you talk to, whether or not they're in the industry, you will get a great conversation going. And just don't be afraid to shout it off the rooftops that renewable is the next thing. It is the next thing.
Yeah, formally speaking, since I left grad school, this is day away panels are really the only way I formally talk about renewables with anyone. But like Nikki said, there are networking groups, plenty of meetups, green drinks. There's something over in Somerville called Energy Bar, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Nikki knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I talk about renewables or energy efficiency with anyone who asks. Sometimes they probably bite off a bit more than they can chew if they want to get into an actual conversation or discussion with me. But yeah, I kind of just talk to anybody who wants to hear about it. So.
And I'd reinforce that don't underestimate the power of your universities, right? To say that Howard is going green, or Howard is for community resiliency, or Howard is for responsible energy usage. Just even pushing an initiative forward on like that can a lot of times be a self-fulfilling prophecy. That it draws attention, it can draw talent, it can draw companies your way. And I would encourage anyone on this webinar to think about what you can do to enhance your profile as an organization, to say, we care about this, and here's why I care about it, and here's what we're doing, and here's our goal. And even if it's a long reach, it's surprising, to Rashawn and Nikki's points. People like ourselves see those things. A lot of times we're near those cities, and there's a ton of people in Washington, D.C. that are pushing on these initiatives at the governmental level, at the industry level, advocacy level, and there's lots of reasons why people would love to engage with a university like Howard. So don't underestimate your ability to organize those things and to drive the message that you want to see conveyed for the universities.
Makamba, one point too, I think sort of supports everything that's been said, and that is the tremendous role that younger generations are going to play to support renewables going forward. And I'm not proud to say what I'm about to say, but older generations, I'm 58, so my generation, older than me, people in their 40s, largely look at electricity and fuel very simply. They want the lowest cost. Simple as that, right? You flip the switch, the electricity comes on, I want it to be reliable, I want it to be cheap. Same deal basically with gas in your car. And I think younger generations are starting to see that there's more going on there, and ultimately they got to look beyond cost, and you guys know that the cost you pay for electricity or for fuel is not including the cost of externalities, and the climate change is real, and there is a connection to fossil fuel, blah 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 blah. But the point here is younger generations are going to be the first audience that will be receptive to all these great messages that the panelists have said. Whereas I think in many cases my generation's lost. Generations older than mine are absolutely lost. And so, it is what it is. It is what it is. You're probably not going to change these people. But the good news is, they're going to die. The generations get replaced, right? And it's important. So all the things that were said are huge going forward, because these are challenges that are going to be around for many, 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 many years. Trey, Adria, one of you guys, it's your turn. Yeah, there you go. What a great smile. Two great smiles. See, this is it. We just got to smile tonight. This networking stuff is fun, right? I'm not saying getting a job's fun, but at least the networking can be kind of fun. So what do we got?